Translate and solve. Example 1. A wholesaler supplier offers a 0.92 multiplier to a customer. So what is 92% of 1,200? So we're going to actually set this up a little differently than in the last section, right? And so how we're going to do this one is actually do basically two ratios that are equal to each other. And so this is how it looks. So it's going to go is, which is our part, and then we have of, which is our whole, right? So this is our ratio, and that's going to be equal to the percent over 100. So we're going to fill it in based upon the information we have. And so in this one, right, we have 92%, which is going to go right there. And then we have of 1,200. So this of 1,200 is going to go right here. So that is the full amount, right, the whole. And we're looking for this part that is, right? And so let's go ahead and plug in all our values, and then we will start to multiply. So we have x, we can say is our variable, of, which is going to be this 1,200. And then we have this percent, which is going to be 92, and that's going to be over 100. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and do this cross multiplying, or the butterfly, however you want to think about it. So what we're doing is we're going to go ahead and go x times 100. So we could just put it as 100x. Then we have 92 times this 1,200. Now, in order to get x by itself, right, we just divide by 100 on both sides. This gets rid of it on the left-hand side. And now we can go ahead and solve for x. So let's get our calculators out. So we have 92 times 1,200. Then we're going to go ahead and divide by 100. And we get 1,104. And so that is what, right, this question is. So what is 92% of 1,200? That's just 1,104. Now let's go ahead and look at the second example. So another supplier offers a 0.90 multiplier to a customer. So what is 90% of 3,750? So we can go is of, right, this is the part of the whole, right? You can write it all out if you'd like. And then we're going to put the percentage over 100. Our percentage goes here. We have this of 3,750. So that's going to go right there. So it's just like the last one, but we just have different numbers. And then this is going to be, let's go ahead and fill this in. We can put x on the top again. This time we have 3,750, which is equal to 90 over 100. So we just, like we did, right? We can go 100 times x, so 100x. And then we have 90 times 3,750. We need to get x by itself, so we just divide by 100 on both sides. And then we can go ahead and solve. So we'll go 90 times 3,750 divided by 100, and we get 3,375. And that would be our x, and that would be, right, the amount that we're looking for. So now let's go ahead and look at the next example. So example 3, the top real estate agent at Windermere Real Estate in Spokane Valley sold 17 homes out of 48 homes sold that year. We're going to determine the percentage of the top real estate agent sold based on the total homes sold. So this is just like the last example, it just doesn't have the wording like it usually does. But the part of, right, this is that we have a percentage over 100, which is, we are looking for the percentage. And that's going to be equal to, right, the part of the whole. So we have 17 over 48, right? So this is the part, this is the whole, right? This could be considered the is, and this is considered the of, but it just doesn't have that wording. But it's the same concept. And what we're looking for is this percentage. So let's go ahead and actually just, right, go ahead and start calculating. So we have 17 now times 100, which is equal to, now 48, instead of percentage, let's just actually write it as x. Now, to get x by itself, we go ahead and divide by 48 on both sides, right? Now we just have x on the right. So now we can get the calculator out. We divide by 48, and what do we get? Well, we get 35.42. And this is going to be in percent, because we're looking for the percentage that the one real estate agent did out of the total. So they did 35.42%. Now, let's go ahead and look at the fourth example. Example for the top real estate agent at Windermere Real Estate in Seattle sold 15% of the 80 homes that were sold that year. So let's determine the number of homes sold by the top real estate agent. So notice we have a percentage this time, and we do have of 80 homes, right? So those are two information. So remember we have the part over the whole, or is of, right? Part, whole, right? And then we have our percentage over 100. So our percentage will go here. This of 80, right? The 80 will go right there. And so that means we're looking for this, right? How many they actually sold. So if we plug in these values, right? So we have, let's put X for how many houses they sold. So that's what we're solving for. How many did they actually sell out of the 80, right? And that's going to be equal to 15 over 100, right? There's some kind of, right, as you can see, the ratios are equal to one another, right? And that's another way to think about them. And so in order to solve, we're going to go ahead and do this cross multiply. So we have 100x, which is equal to 80 times 15. And we're going to go ahead and divide by 100 on both sides. It gets x by itself. And so let's get our calculator. And we get 12. So how many homes did that real estate agent sell? 12 homes out of the 80. And so when we look at this, just so you see this, right? So 12 over 80, which is equal to, right, 15 over 100. So let's go ahead and do that. So if you have this 12 divided by 80, what does that equal? It equals 0.15. And this is equal to 0.15. And that's how this works out, right? Is that this is a ratio that are connected to each other, that they're equal to one another. So that's how we can learn to solve for things.